How are you doing, everybody out there? I hope you are doing well. I hope you are blessed. My friends, my family, my name is Jason. This is the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. I am the proud gardener of this. I don't own any of this. I'm simply reading from the book, the Bible, as people call it, or the scriptures as it is referred to. And today is day 22 on our Father's calendar. And that may not make a lot of sense to you guys, but we are on the Babylonian calendar. It's October 29th. We are coming into one of the most evilest times of the year. And these are the times when we absolutely need to be in prayer. We need to be in prayer that our Creator will not allow the forces of darkness to intervene and intertwine into our lives, into our hearts, into our minds, into our souls. Because the spiritual world is a world that is at war right now, and it is completely at war. And they are trying to master the human domain, and they are doing a very good job at that. And there's a lot of people that are completely just sleeping, and a lot of people just lined up. They're doing what they're told. But our Creator has a way for us, and He has a path for us. And as it is getting to the edge and the eve of one of those most evil days, many people call Halloween, but it's October 31st. It is the Devil's Day, and it will be a day Babylon will be announcing a lot of evil stuff. And with those with eyes to see and ears to hear, it's a bad time that we are coming into. It's a very sad time. But we must always keep our eyes on the prize, when the prize is the kingdom to come. The prize is not what we're seeing right now in the physical and the wars that are going on in the spiritual. Because what we're seeing in the physical is incredible for those of us who are awake. It's really sad, but these things must come to pass. If they don't come to pass, we don't see earthquakes, and we don't see what is happening right now, it won't happen. And we're closer to the kingdom. So now we know that we are very close to the kingdom. The time is very close. And today's talk, I'd like to talk to you guys simply about what I like to call the 614th commandment. And I don't know where exactly. I believe it is the Jewish fellows that have determined that we have 613 commandments. But I would like to explain to a lot of people that most of the 613 commandments don't apply to all of us. The commandments that do apply to us are the commandments that are yours, and the commandments that we should be following. They're simple ones, and for men, there's a side of ones, and women, there's ones. There's one for butchers. There's one for axemen, people who are in the field and you accidentally kill somebody. And there's laws for everything, right? It seems like they've encountered a tremendous amount of things that our Creator has given us advice on. And so as He gave us advice, our brother Moshe wrote them down into his words and tablets and things of that nature. And so we have them today in what we call the Torah. So from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, there are roughly 613 commands. And again, if you're a female, there's things that just apply to females and the things that happen to females. Guys, there's things that are apply just to guys. And there's ceremonial cleanliness, and then there's essentially spiritual cleanliness. Are we where we need to be? Are we keeping the law, statutes, and commands? And a lot of times it is very, very easy for us to fall off this path, right? The way to destruction is very big, right? The gate is small. The path is very narrow, and many who are on it don't find life, and they do not find it. And one command does not trump another command. There are commands that are very, very important. And our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, which is Joshua with a Y, because J's did not exist back in the days of Hebrew, so our Messiah's name would have never been called Jesus or Isis or anything of that sort. It would have been Yahushua. Some say Yeshua. But what that means in Hebrew is that means salvation, right? And there's the same for the Torah. The Torah doesn't mean law. It means the way forward, right? If you translate that and you're looking for what Torah is, it's the way forward. And so when you acknowledge this and you accept that our Creator has given us specific guidelines and specific things for us and for our lives, then we are keeping the Torah, and we're in covenant. When we keep the Torah, when we go through the Torah, and when we say, okay, you know what, I like everything here. I am going to keep the Torah. I am going to walk as our Creator has us to walk. That means you've walked into a covenant. You are no longer a Gentile. You're an Hebrew. You're a Hebrew, essentially. I mean, if there's no other name, you don't need a label. You don't need a name. You're walking with our Creator. If he wants a name, he'll give you a name, right? But a lot of people get hooked up on the Baptist or Catholic and Mormon or whatever because they like the title, right? They like the people with it, and the people are nice and the people do this thing. But the problem is with all these religions is this walks contrary to the Torah. So it doesn't walk in it. We're never told to worship on a Sunday. We were never told to do the stuff that they do, right? And they eat the wrong foods, and they really, most Christians, if you ask them what the laws of God are, they're like, that's on the cross. It doesn't matter to us. We are not under the laws of God. We are a different people in the Bible that is going to be raptured, and we're going to be taken away out of all this stuff. And they've invented all these things into scriptures. They put all this crazy stuff into it, but I've never found a spot in the Bible that ever says a group of disobedient people that are rebelling, that are doing contrary to what the Bible says is going to be saved, right? Why would we ever be taken away, right? If we were not doing the will of our Creator. And the will of our Creator is not bondage. It is a way of life. It is a system. It is a way of life. It's how we do things. It's how we operate. And it is how we worship. And there is more, I believe, than the 613 commandments, because the people that said there's 613 commandments never forgot. There's a 14th. There's an important one. There's 614, right? And it's another commandment. And it essentially isn't a new commandment, but it is. And we must take it at face value for this. And before we get into that, let's read a little quick, John 13:3. Yahushua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from Elohim and went to Elohim. Right? This is very important. Our Creator's Son knew that he had all power from the Father. The Father asked him to go this way, guided his way. It was basically the choice of the Son to follow in the request of the Father, right? And so when we get down to right here, there's something we don't often, go over. And this is a Christian commandment, because as you're Christian, you're supposed to love everybody, right? That's the motto of the Christians: love everybody, and then forgive everybody, don't judge anybody, and that's a real sinful life. We are supposed to judge people. We're supposed to judge people according to the Torah. We're supposed to be involved. If you see evil, you're supposed to go call it out and be a man about it and fix it. Right? We're not supposed to be, let it go. Somebody's sleeping with somebody else and it's like screwing up the kids. Let's not say a word, right? No, that's actually what we're supposed to do when there's adultery and things of that nature in a system. We're supposed to confront them using the witness system, and we're supposed to talk to them about it, right? Try to save the kids. Try to do something. Don't just look away, because it's never going to get better if you do. This is very important, because this is Commandment 614, what I call 614. John 13:34. A new commandment, and this is from Yahushua. This is from the most powerful man, vocally, verbally, the way he talks, the way he speaks, the power, the authority in this man's voice is from our Creator, right? He is not the same. They are not one. There's no Trinity. It's Father, he's one. Son, he's one. And this is what the Son says, right? And he doesn't say this once. He says it over and over and over. Let's talk about it. 13:34, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that you are my Talmidim, if ye have love one to another. Right? And this is, if we didn't even have any other commandments, if this is all we had, the question right here is, do you love your neighbor as yourself? Do you love everybody? Do you have an in-law or an outlaw or whatever you want to call him, a cousin or an enemy that you just go to sleep at night and you just wish this guy had, problems in his life or something horrible, right? Have you forgiven everybody? Have you guys done this new commandment that our Messiah has said to do? And not only does it say it here, right? He reiterates this right over here. 16. There's 16. Sorry, guys. It might be 15. That's 15. Okay. So one thing I want to point out first on 15:10, if ye guard my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have guarded my Father's commandments and abide in his love, right? And if we are only taking love your neighbor, but let's take it one step further, because even if we only had two of the greatest commandments, which the Pharisees tried to trip our Messiah up on, and the very first of the greatest commandments is to love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. And the second of those is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that is where the Christians will go, that's all the commandments we have. If that is so, then by not knowing the rest of what our Creator has said or has advised for us in our life is breaking commandments. Because how can you love God with all your heart, mind, and soul if you do not hang on to every word he says? Right? And there's nothing frivolous. There's nothing jokester style. There's nothing but good stuff in the Torah. It leads to life. It leads to the path of life. So if ye guard my commandments, and the commandments of the Messiah, the will of the Father is what the Messiah was running. So it's not just his commandments. It's all the commandments. He's speaking of every commandment, that if ye guard my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. That means he is going to love those who are striving and pushing and dedicating their lives to them, right? If you are in that grip, if you love your Messiah with every breath that you have, and you love God with every heartbeat that you have, you are going to want to do what they say. This is it. And he reiterates that commandment, right? And this is where I just wanted to take this part, get through John, so I can get some new reading material as well. John 15:12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. And he goes on and he says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. He's like, you are my friends. If a leftah, ye do whatsoever I command you. Right? And so he's about to go hang on a tree. They are about to crucify our Messiah, right? His human flesh does not want this. No human flesh wants this, right? But he's about to lay down his life for his friends. Our Messiah is our best friend. He came and he did it, and it wasn't just for those people back in the day, but it was for all of us, right? Man, that is part of the plan. But he did that so that we can accept him, that we can accept the Torah as our way forward. And if we accept the Torah as our way forward, and we are able to abide in our Creator as our Creator has abided in his Son and in us, right? There are blessings that come from keeping the Torah, friends. There are a lifestyle change. Everything in your life will get better. It doesn't matter if you're a single person out there, if you're on Skid Row, it doesn't matter. Crack that Bible. Let me know if it does not enhance your life. Because once you understand what the Creator's will is for you and you accept that path, it's a love relationship, right? You are walking hand in hand with the Creator and the Son. They have called you. Are you answering this call? Are you willing to walk in the law, statutes, and commands, which is contrary to the world? Right? The world doesn't care about this. You can watch commercials on TV and it is naked girls, it is naked this, it is whatever it is. It's immoral, right? It is just, it's a filthy world that we are now in. And the world that our Creator has is holiness. It's righteousness. It's cleanness. It's a way of living that is not like the world, right? The tribes of Israel did not look like the world today. When there was evil in the land, they did what they had to do. They drug them outside the gates and they stoned them. They killed them. They brought evil to its knees. And unfortunately, we don't live in that society anymore. We don't live in a man's world where people will do what our Creator wants, but it will come back to this. The kingdom that is coming will be a law-bound place, and you will want that. Why would you want immoral lawlessness? The laws of God are good. There's nothing crazy about them. So when you take them and you take the Messiah and you grasp them and you entwine them into your life, that you listen to the Torah in the morning when you get up, you read it when you go to bed, right? This becomes the love of your life. This has to become the love of your life. The kingdom to come, many are called. Very, very few are chosen. Are you part of that few? Much love to y'all. I'm out.